A conic section is the intersection of a plane and a cone. By changing the angle and location of intersection, we can produce a circle, ellipse, parabola, or hyperbola.
The circumference of a closed or circular object is the linear distance around its edge. It may also refer to the edge itself rather than to the length of the edge. Circumference is a special case of perimeter. The perimeter is the length around any closed figure.
The following poster includes the basic graph that represents the circumference, shows its main characteristics, equations, and the means to obtain the domain and range. According to several architects, the use of the circle in architecture, without a doubt, is the most efficient of all. The figure is very useful in architectonic means because it helps saving space in surfaces of walls and enclosures. It increases in energetic efficiency thanks to a minor surface of heat transference. Also, the circle has better behavior regarding winds and solar radiation. In a facade of perpendicular walls, the orientations are direct. However, in facades of a curved form, the orientations are diluted, improving the use of the solar radiation and diminishing the penalized surfaces for their orientation concerning the loss or gain of heat.
Even though the circle is the most efficient of the figures in architectural means, it was mostly used in ancient architectures. In remains of the first settlements of mankind, we will find in many occasions that the architecture of the houses and a lot of the buildings has a circular form. Nowadays, the circle is not usually employed at the time of designing the majority of our buildings, due to the fact that the use of circular structures makes it harder for the structure to be furnished and results more complicated in plans with perpendicular partitions.
Circumference can be used to measure a lot of things in medicine, but especially to measure circular objects in the human body. For example, for measuring the neck, head, etc. Neck circumference, measured as the distance around the neck, is a simple and time-saving measure to identify obesity in both men and women. But it's also used to find the measures of the instruments used in surgeries and as well in technology. Almost all measures use circumference as the official measure, such as the sport medicine when they want to know the measure of your waist, etc. Waist circumference, that is the distance around the waist, is a common measure used to check for fat held around the stomach.
Space engineering helps us do the aircraft we send to space. It helps us do the satellites and to program them, design missiles, etc. A satellite is something in space orbiting around a bigger thing, for example, the moon orbiting around the Earth. The satellites are for communication, navigation, etc. It calculates how far it should be from the Earth, the speed it is going to orbit around it, and the orbit it has to follow. And to know the orbit it has to follow, it is needed the circumference of the Earth. The satellite needs to be in between the atmosphere and the vacuum of space to keep orbiting for any length of time. If the satellite is too close to the atmosphere, it will fall towards the Earth. If the satellite is too far, it will get lost in space. So it has to have a balance. So the term for this is called orbital velocity. Most satellites fly in low Earth orbit, that is around 150 and 2000 kilometers in altitude. So satellites in very low Earth orbit, they orbit around 300 kilometers in altitude. So they have to speed up at a rate of 28,000 kilometers per hour, so they can keep orbiting. The ones that are around 1,000 kilometers up in altitude, they are going at a slower rate of 25,000 kilometers per hour. The satellite, the closer to Earth it is, the faster it has to keep orbiting. The farther from the Earth, the slower. These satellites are affected by orbital decay, that is being dragged down because of the atmospheric drag, mostly caused by collisions with gas molecules. So basically, the satellites are always falling. Satellites in lower orbits are affected even more because the atmosphere is closer, so it is denser, so there is more drag, which means lower altitude. To longer their life rate, people go to space and puts them fuel for them to keep orbiting while longer.